Clip 554, area of a rectangle. So reminder, first thing you need to remember is what is the formula for the area of a rectangle. So the area of a rectangle is the space inside a rectangle. Okay, so what space is inside there? So that is length times width. Okay, so the two sides, you times them together, that gives the area. And a reminder about perimeter. Perimeter is the distance all the way around. If you were a little man and you walk round, what distance would you have travelled? So area is length times width. So first question, what's the area of this square? It's got a base of 5 centimetres. So the first thing to remember is a square. What can you tell me about a square? So all the sides are the same. So I can label all the sides as 5. So remember, area of a square is just a special type of rectangle. Area would be length times width. And that will be, well, the length is 5 and the width is 5 because it's a square. 5 5s, 25, and it's centimetres. So what units do we use for area? Well, all area questions, the answers, the units will be square something. So square centimetres, square millimetres, square kilometres, square inches. This one's in centimetres, so it's centimetres squared. That's the first one. Second one, work out the base of the square of area A, which is 144 centimetres squared. Okay, so all of question 1 is just literally finding the area. So you may have find the area of a square, you might have 6 and 5, you just times them together and just put the correct units on. So this one's a little bit different. We already know what the area is. So we know this has got an area of 144 centimetres squared. So we've got to find out what these two sides are. So something times something gives you 144. And what can you say about these two? Well, it's a square, so these two are the same as each other. So a number times itself is 144. So where have you heard that? A number times itself. That is square numbers. So can you remember what the square number is that makes, what number squared makes 144, which is a square number? Well, that'll be 12. 12 times 12 is 144. So this will be 12 times 12 equals 144. And you just want to know what is this one, just one of them. So the answer is the base is 12 centimetres. Okay, question 3. A square has area 466.56 metres squared. Work out the perimeter of the square. So we've got to find out, first of all, each side. We know each side's the same, it's because it's a square. And then once we've done that, we've got to find out the perimeter of the square. So the same as what we did before, something times something is 466.56. Well, how are you going to do that on your calculator? Well, what is the opposite of squaring something? So if I squared a number, what's the opposite of it? Well, that is square rooting that number. So for example, we did this one, the easy one up here. If it's 144, you would do 144 square root, and that would give you 12. And that is the same as 12 squared is 144. Okay, so it's the opposites of each other. So I need to do the square root of 466.56. Well, you can do that in your calculator, which is 21.6, and it will be metres because it's metres squared. So each of these sides is 21.6 metres. So that's not the final answer. All I've done is worked out one of the sides. You've got to work out what's the perimeter of the square. Well, if I was my little man, so went back to what I did at the beginning, and I walked round, I'd go that one, that one, that one, and that one. And you know they're all 21.6. So how many lots of 21.6 have we got? Well, we've got 4 lots. So 4 times 20 is 80. 4 times 1 is 4. And 0.6 times 4 is 2.4. Add them together, 0.4, you get 86.4 metres, which is my answer. Okay. So, next question. So, all of these following on have not got a diagram. So I would suggest you sketch a little diagram out. So, first one, a rectangle has got an area of 420 metres squared. One side is 5 metres. Work out the perimeter. Well, the first thing we've got to work out is what this side is. So we know the area is length times width. So the area is length times width for a rectangle. But we know one of the sides, length times 5, is 420. So that means 5 times something is 420. So what are you going to do backwards? Well, you do 420 divided by 5, which is 84. So the length of one of the sides is 84. How can you check it? Well, if that was 84 and we did 84 times 5, that would be 420. So that's the first part. You've now got to work out what the perimeter of the rectangle is. So remember, little man, he's going to walk all the way around. He's going to walk 84 first. So this is to work out the perimeter. He's going to walk 84, then he's going to walk 5, then he's going to walk 84, then he's going to walk 5 again. So add them up, 10, 18, carry 1, 8, 16, 17. So 178 metres is the perimeter. Next one, the perimeter of a square is 40. So notice what's happening now. The questions we did, number 2 and 3, are like this, but we're now starting with the perimeter. So the perimeter of a square is 40, work out the area of the square. Right, we know all the way around this shape, which is the same, is 40. So that all these have got to be the same. That means 4 times something has got to be 40, where the number is the same. Well, you should know it's 10. That means all the sides are 10. Now, how do you work out the area? Well, area is length times width. What's the length? 10. What's the width? 10. So that'll be 100 centimetres squared. Okay, and that's us answered the question. The final example, work out the area of a rectangle with base 18 and perimeter 50. So be careful, that's not 50, all the way around is 50. Right, if we remember, in a shape like this, the opposite sides are going to be equal. And then this one and this one are going to be equal to each other, and they will all add up to 50. So let's just write that down, what I've just said. 18 plus 18 plus something, that one, plus something, that one, would give us 50. You've now got to find out what these two are. So if I take those two 18s away from 50, that's 36. So I'll do 50, take away 36. That'll give me that question mark added together twice. Well, that's 14, isn't it? So 2 lots of something, which is these sides, will give me 14. So that something has to be 7. So that has to be 7. And so does that. Let's just check. Does that add up to 50? 7 add 7 is 14. 14 add 2 lots of 18, which is 36. 14 add 36 is 50. So that means I've got 7 and 18 as a length and width. Now, it doesn't ask me that. Ask me what's the area of the rectangle. Well, area of a rectangle is length times width. So I've got to do 7 times 18. Now, I'm not going to do that in my head. You can do it in a column. 18 and 7. So 7 sevens are 49, 8 sevens are 56 from your times tables. 1 7 is 7, plus the 5 on, that's 12. So the answer would be, for the area, 126 millimetres squared. Okay, and that's all the questions on area. There were some very tricky questions in there that are just not let's find the area of a rectangle, because that's the style of question you're going to get moving up through the school.